Hi everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. We will just wait for a minute and see if more people are joining in, and then we will start our session for today. Hi Warlord. Hi Vataki. Hi Raghav. Hi Sumit. Hi Toxic. Good name, man. All right. So hi Pulkit. Hi Sanskriti. Hi Siddharth. Hi Pratyush. Hi Ayman. Hi Janil. Hi Abhishek. Hi everyone. Right guys. So just a second. Next time I'll try to do the live chat via Zoom. So I was trying to do it today, but since I had already scheduled it, I could not do it, right? So otherwise, from next time onwards, I'll try to write stuff and explain it also, right? So the explanation will become sharper from that angle. Okay. Cool. So we are just waiting for like literally a minute, and then we will start sharp at like 6:02, right? Okay. Meanwhile, आज क्या पढ़ा रहे हो सीन को? Okay. अभी not much to be honest. He just learns a little bit of Spanish. Like he has like concentration issues. All the kids have concentration issues. So yeah. Vikas Nair. Hi everyone. So I hope my audio is clear, right? Audio video is clear. There are no issues. I have Umang. I have hi Jayant. Australian B schools. I'll make a separate video, Jayant. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Okay, wonderful guys. So I think it's 6:01 still. Okay, so a few seconds to go. All right. And thanks for the lovely attendance. Almost 200 people right away, which is wonderful, right? We'll just start at like in a few seconds right away. Right. So video not so clear. Unfortunately, yes, and that was the reason why I was trying to do it via Zoom, because I could have used my phone, right? Though I use a good laptop, which is like MacBook Air, but this is what the web camera is, so I can't do much. I don't have a streaming software yet, right? So I've read, like I'm reading my 4th book, Navneet, right? Okay, yeah, I can see that. Okay, just give me a second. I can change it. Just a minute. Okay. Just give me a minute, guys. I'll just sort it out very quickly. Hopefully it will be slightly better now, right? The camera quality. Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. So, all right, guys. Yes. So I'll speak about what is next. Okay. Is my light still causing any issues? I'll put on my lamp also. Just a second. Okay. Unfortunately, my lamp is not working properly, but hopefully this should be okay. I'm like, still the light should be slightly better. Okay. But okay, cool. So anyways, like, I mean, we are here to like listen. So guys, I have like, these are the books, right? I'll talk about it towards the end also, right? I will give you the names, what we are going to read next, 4 or 5 books. So yeah, so you guys can order it. That's one. Second important point is that I have stopped giving any hyperlinks or like any affiliate links. It was just taking too much time from my end just to maintain the log. Okay. So please just go order it, download it, borrow it. It's fine, right? From that angle. Important point is that just read the books. That is important, right? Okay. So I will talk about these books going forward. So please stay on this live chat, right? And I will discuss all the points. But very quickly, right? Today we are going to. So today I have my notes prepared, right? So we are going to talk about literally 14 points. That's it. Okay, 14 points. That's it. Nothing fancy. Investing books list. Yes, I will give that. I'll make a separate video on that, right? The work is in progress. I'm researching more. Give me some time. I'll probably release that video in a month's time, right? Because I want that video to be good, right? Okay, cool. So 14 points. That's what we are going to talk about. But before that, just very quick admin points. Number one, if you have not joined the Telegram group, please do it. The reason is very simple, that I will put book summaries, and if I'm coming across any good articles that relate to the books that we have already studied. For example, we have already read the book, two books so far. One is Psychology of Money that we will be discussing today, and the first book was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, right? So whatever reading I'm doing, like whether it's article reading, if I come across interesting videos, etc., I will keep putting it on the Telegram group. That's the only medium of communication that I'm going to use, because other stuff is very difficult. Okay, so that's one. Now, second point is, so please join the Telegram group. That's a humble request. Number two, please order your books. Okay, I will give you the list towards the end of this class. You can order it from anywhere. It's fine, right? If you can borrow it, you can share it with your friends. Not a problem from my side. Please don't ask me to give you the link of those books, because I can't do it. I'll be sued, right? So that's legally not correct from my end. Okay. Okay. With that said, I think we have taken 5 minutes. Sorry about that. So we'll get to the point right away. What will I discuss? So in the next 25 minutes, I will go through 14 important points. Are these 14 points directly from Psychology of Money? The answer is no. This is in combination to the work that I have learned, and by investing in the stock markets, making different types of investments, etc. And second point is, it comes from Psychology of Money, right? So this is a good sort of a summation of everything that is going on, right? So go to the library for those who can't. Okay. All right. So Telegram group name, if Preksha is there on the chat, then I will request her to just drop the Telegram group link. Otherwise, if you go on my previous video, the link keeps on there, or if you follow me on LinkedIn, I have stated the link somewhere in comments. Okay. So it's called Akshat Shrivastava only. That is the name of the group. Okay. Same as my YouTube channel. All right. So, okay. And after like 25-30 minutes, I'll take questions, because this is a good investing style of stuff that you can learn and pick up. So it might be super useful from that angle. Okay. All right. Okay. So how to be kick-ass super rich. So Abhishek, please watch my video that comes out today. It's about how to become rich in the stock market. Literally 3 principles that you need to follow. I will also discuss Ray Dalio's principles. With that said, let's get started. And apologies for making you guys wait. Okay. 14 points. Point number 1, how do you define money? This is very, very important. So I would love to hear from you that how do you guys define money? What is the utility of money according to you? Right. So a lot of us define money in terms of the purchasing power it gives, right? So that's one way of defining money, that, hey, I have money. I have earned 1 lakh. Now I'll go buy an iPhone, or I'll go buy something else. So people define money as a means to buy more stuff. That is one definition of money that you can have. Money is a medium, right? What is the other definition of money that you yourself can create, right? For example, according to Morgan Housel, right, who wrote Psychology of Money, the book that we are discussing, for him, money is freedom, right? Literally, money is freedom. It gives you freedom to define your time, define the type of work that you will take, define how you want to live life, define how you want to spend time with your family, define how much do you want to sleep in a day, etc. Right? So all these points are there. Now, no one's definition of money is wrong, right? Money is the value of your financial status. So you can come up with your own definition, but it is important to come up with your definition of money, because if you don't do that, then what happens is that you end up just, sort of following the crowd, right? Because majority of us define money as a means to buy more stuff, right? So if you actually think of money from that angle, then, it becomes a matrix, right? So this is what I felt the inception of the book, The Psychology of Money, was, that you first and foremost need to define according to you what money is. This is literally point number 1. I will tell you on the 14th point that how do I define money and what do I think about becoming rich. You guys might already know the answer somewhat, but I will still explain that on the 14th point. So number 1, what is your definition of money? Please write it down, would be useful, right? Number 2 point is, what is the difference between getting rich and building wealth, right? So for this, you need to first and foremost understand that there is a difference between being rich and being wealthy, right? For example, rich is a person who won a $1 million lottery, right? There are enough people. For example, at one point in time, Mike Tyson had a wealth, or like was rich in worth of more than $100 million, right? Then at another point in his life, he became bankrupt. He went bankrupt. Bad stuff. Okay, that's a kind of a story that you would keep on hearing from people all day long, right? That some big shot wrestler or some big shot baseball player or basketball player earned millions of dollars, then they became bankrupt, right? So that is a very common story these days, right? So the point is that becoming rich is that, hey, you're just, so as Kavita rightly pointed out, that it is, rich is short-lived, right? It's not sustainable, but wealth is sustainable. For example, if you take a look at Rockefeller Foundation, right? So it has been started such a long time ago, right? Super rich, Rothschilds, right? Who literally gave the Johnny Depp, okay, yeah, even he too went bankrupt. Rihanna, yes, correct, right? So a lot of people, technically even like Donald Trump went bankrupt at some point, but yeah. The important point for us to note is that, hey, there is a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Wealth is sustainable. Being rich is temporary, right? That's the important point. For example, why do you think that, for example, like, a lot of, now I don't want to get into the politics of it, but I hope that you guys will take this discussion in the right spirit. For example, according to me, a lot of businessmen in India, for example, whether it's Kumar Mangalam Birla, right, or Mukesh Ambani, why are they focusing so much on giving right values to their kids, right? You might have hardly seen Isha Ambani or Mukesh Ambani's sons flaunting wealth, or if you take a look at Ananya Birla, right? She stresses a lot on her music career, bunch of different things. They are super talented people from that angle. Not getting into the nepotism and all that debate, but simply asking you a simple point that, hey, why do you think that these rich businessmen are stressing so much on helping their kids build the right set of values? Right? The reason again is that they want to sustain the wealth, right? So it's very important, right? There is like a saying somewhere, like I don't know who gave this saying. So it was something like that, hey, one generation works really hard to build wealth, the other generation can destruct wealth, right? So that happens very quickly unless you inculcate the right set of values, right? So very important to understand the difference between being rich and being wealthy. People are already stressing on it. Which brings us to the definition of money according to Morgan Housel. So he literally defines that, hey, making money is more about your psychology than your money making skills. Okay, that is very important. So So Anil Ambani, I don't know, I won't comment on like any negative things, but at least if you look at it from a positive things, there are enough positive people, right? I mean, especially in our generation, so to say, right? Okay. So one scales it and third destroys it. Anshul, absolutely right? So this is important that, hey, money is more about psychology than your money making skills. And there was a specific case that was discussed about a person called as Ronald Reed, right? I made a video also a few days back that, Ronald Reed was a janitor, right? And he was quoted extensively across financial papers, etc., as to how did he amass or build a wealth of $8 million and donated it to charities, hospitals, etc. Why was he able to do that, right? Despite being a janitor. The reason was that, hey, you know what, it was, he built the habit of saving. He built the habit of investing. He stayed in the market to help that wealth grow, etc., etc. Now, Rohit, I don't know if you're talking about Abhishek Bachchan in a positive light or a negative light. I'll just leave it open to interpretation, right, from that angle. So important point so 2 points. One is that how do you define money? Number 2, understand the difference between being rich and being wealthy, right? Always remember the example of Ronald Reed that, hey, despite being a janitor, he was not a financial expert. He was not an MBA from Harvard, right? But he still built up massive amount of wealth, right? Okay. That's 2. Third comes the point about wonders of compounding, because this literally talks about or, exemplifies Ronald Reed's power of investing. Okay. Now, first and foremost, now here is an interesting point, and this is something that was not talked about in this book. Okay. So the point is, you tell me where the power of compounding works. So it's very easy to take like Ronald Reed's example that, hey, he was a janitor, started saving, started investing every penny in stock markets, made massive wealth. Okay. So compounding works when it comes to stock markets, money, etc. Where does compounding work as well? Right? In what other fields of life does it work? Thank you, Oscar. Studies. Brew us in Nescafe? I don't know. Okay. So it's almost everything, right? I mean, compounding, we assume that, hey, compounding, people show you all these weird graphs, right? habits, exercise, career, no matter what you're doing, whether you're building positive habits or you're building negative habits, knowledge, right? Your addiction to getting hooked to certain type of OTT platforms. I'll not name them, you already know, right? So I won't say that. The point is that compounding is the eighth wonder of the world, as Suman rightly points out. Compounding is the eighth wonder of the world, but the important lesson for us is that hey, compounding not just necessarily works in money, it works in your habit as well, both positive and negative. For example, right, one of the good habits that I have picked up is doing like 8 to 10 minutes HIIT exercise. That's it, right? I hate exercising. I think it's a waste of time, right? Half the time I think that, not the right approach. But what I feel is that, you know what, if I just do like a 10-minute hit every day, it's good enough. I am able to push it easily. I'm okay doing it, right? It does not waste a lot of my time. I'm a busy person from that angle. So this is something that I can sustain. But over time, if I keep doing that 10-minute hit exercise, it will probably have positive effects on my health, right? It will help me build stamina. It will help me maintain my weight, so to say, right? So all those good things are there, right? Reading, right? Another important good habit, right? Now, it's not as if that you just, so someone wrote a comment yesterday or like today morning that, hey, you know what, my half psychology of money is left. I don't know who is there. And I have to read it by like 6 p.m. So just type in if you are that person. So someone said that. And so don't do like these massive sort of stretches, right? Better thing is that read like 4, 5, 6 pages every day, right? Try to cultivate positive habits, because again, similar to Warren Buffett. So there was a point about Warren Buffett that 81.5 billion of Warren Buffett's wealth out of 84.5 billion worth came after his 65th birthday. Why? Because again, the power of compounding happened, that your money gets doubled, right? So essentially what happens is, now talking from a finance point of view, what happens is that your money gets doubled literally every 5 years roughly. Now, why am I saying it, right? So there is something called as rule of 72. Okay. Rule of 72 means that if you, for example, invest your money in FDs, what is the return of FDs? It's 6%, right? Now 72 divided by 6, it's 12 years. So if you, rule of 72, sorry, right? So rule of 72. So 72 divided by 6, it's 12 years. So it will take you 12 years to double your money in an FD. Okay. Now, divided by the return, absolutely. Now, if you are investing your money in the stock market, then usual return is 10 to 15%. So therefore, in stock market, your money should double every 5 years. Okay, so that's an important point to notice, that hey, compounding actually is massive, because if every 5 years your money is doubling, then towards the end of your life, that is where you will get the massive return, the most massive return. And that is what happened in Warren Buffett's case. But important point to notice is that, hey, compounding just does not work simply in terms of money. It works both for good and bad habits as well. Thank you everyone for joining. We have like more than 500 people. I'm glad that I did not do this on Zoom. Otherwise, we would not have been able to accommodate everyone. So, okay, we are discussing psychology of money, right? This is the book that we are discussing very quickly. So 14 points. We are on point number 4 now. Okay. Now, in terms of compounding, right now, again, I would talk about compounding both from a money and non-money perspective. Right. So as I stated on point number 3, that hey, compounding has, of course, the money you can see it grows into your, definitely Rashik, I'll do the Zoom session also. So money definitely grows, and you can see that expanding in your bank account. And therefore it is said that making your first million is the most difficult thing, right? Once you make $1 million, and if you have enough age left, you will automatically become super wealthy, right? That will just happen because of compounding. Right, and bunch of other factors, but that is generally what is said, that making your first million is the hardest thing, right? So that's one, right? Now, taking a look at point number 4, that each of us have our own investment philosophy, and none of us are wrong, right? So we cannot say that a person who is buying the lottery ticket is crazy, right? Despite the odds being so low. So this was extensively explained in this book also by Morgan Housel, right? He extensively explained that hey, it's a chance for people to live a dream, right, by buying a lottery ticket. It might not look rational to someone like me, right, who is extremely analytical. I will analyze before making a decision, etc., right? So some things might look super crazy to me. For example, let me give you an example that you can relate with. So that example would be buying a house. I would not buy a house. I have said it enough times on like videos, on bunch of my videos, I am a big proponent that there is no point or benefit in terms of buying a house, but that is a rational choice. Okay, exactly, Shrideep. That no one is crazy. That's a rational choice, or that's a sort of rational choice that I have made. But everyone might not agree with it, and it's completely fine. Therefore, people have different competing viewpoints, right? Therefore, a housing market exists, right? That is very important point to note. That hey, according to me, buying a house might be a bad financial decision, right? But is it a rational decision? Financially rational decision? No. But is it a reasonable decision? The answer is yes, right? So important point to notice that each one of us would have a different style of investing. We might value different hobbies. We might value different vices, right? So it's completely okay, right? So that's one important point to note. Another is that here, okay, another example. So just type in the comments that where do you think your parents invest money, right? Now there are two areas in which your parents or your grandparents might be investing money, right? And tell me if I'm right. Number one, they would be investing their money in either FDs, or they might be investing their money in real estate. Am I correct or not? Gold. Yeah. Okay. Gold. Fine. Okay. Three assets. Parents invest money in land. Correct, right? So that's real estate in a way, right? Bank or health insurance. Health insurance is not an investment. Property, real estate, pension funds, LIC, ULIP. Okay. That's mutual fund, LIC. Yes, right? So we can all agree that, hey, gold, that's one. Number two, FDs. Number three, real estate. So let me pick two asset classes, because gold, I don't have the data right away with me. But tell me this, like when my parents used to, like 20, 30 years back, can you guys tell me what was the FD rates or fixed deposit rates in India? Around 20 years, 25 years back. So it was absolutely right. So it was 12 to 14% at that time. Okay. What is the FD rate today? If you and I do it, right? I mean, I'm talking about people who are below 35, right? So it is less than like 6% hardly, right? A year, right? So that is the problem, right? Number two, if your parents would have bought any property, okay, any state, any in Delhi or Gurgaon or tier 2 town, tier 3 town, tier 4 town, village, agricultural land, how much would have been the general appreciation in a 10 years time? Okay, so general appreciation in a 10 years time. So for example, if your parents bought some property in 1990, what would have been the appreciation by 2000? Or they would have bought something in 2000, what would have been the appreciation of that property by 2010, right? So it would have grown, that property would have at least given you more than 150% return, okay? At least 150% return, okay? Now, what do these two things tell us, right? Now, our parents are not wrong when they say that go invest in an FD or go invest in a real estate. The reason is again very simple, because they themselves have made like massive amount of money investing in that asset. Now, fast forward, imagine that this is year 2060, 2070. Okay. And like me, you are a crypto enthusiast and you have made a lot of money in cryptos. What would be your advice to your kids? Would you advise them to make money to put their money in FDs? The answer is no, right? Would you advise them to put money in like these weird looking assets like Bitcoins, cryptos, etc.? Probably yes, right? Because see, generations change, right? Similarly, right? I mean, there was a time in Japan, you would not believe, right, that in a 15-year period, I'm missing the exact timeline. Please watch my video today. This concept is there. So in Japan, from a decade of like 1970 to 1982 or 85, somewhere around that, the stock market grew from 2000 to 32,000 levels. Okay. So the parents who made investment in stock markets in Japan, they witnessed a massive boom, okay, in stock markets. But now stock market is not even back to that 1985, 90s level. Right. So the point is, parents, it is really difficult to convince parents how not buying house actually is a good decision. I completely agree, Rohit, because see, they are speaking with their perspective. They are not wrong. They are 100% right. Because if an asset to them has given massive returns to your parents, they would assume that, you know what, there is like a lot of money to be made in asset in houses, right? It's just madness not to buy it. But buying a house is a function of a lot of things. For example, my mom used to work in a bank and she got very low rate loans to buy a house. So in fact, when she built our house, in the house in which I grew up, it was literally free, right? In a way, given the rate of interest that was being charged to her, right? Because she was a bank employee, the rate of interest came down. And this is not just my story. I'm sure that if your parents worked in insurance or banks, you would align with the story that I have. Do you have any analysis video on this topic? What topic are you speaking about, Khalid? So that's the bottom line that you need to keep in mind, that you know what, everyone grows up differently, therefore their viewpoint about money is very different, and they are not wrong. That is the most important thing that even I learned, right, from this book. Okay, so this is very important. But it is very important to understand, and this brings us to point number 5, that despite everyone being right, this does not mean that you should become crazy, right? For example, right now, if you start giving advice to your younger brother or younger sister that, you know what, Bitcoin has grown like crazy, next year when you start making money, go and invest all your money in Bitcoin, it might be horrible financial advice, right? So it is therefore important to understand the difference between being rational and reasonable. Okay, both these categories of people are somewhat right. For example, I am rational, I am financially rational if I'm deciding not to buy a house in a major metro in India right now, because the housing market has already run its course according to me, and therefore it's a rational decision not to buy a house. Is it a reasonable decision? No, right? So if person on the opposite end, for example, if I have a friend, so in fact one of my friends, and I'm not sure if Pawan is here, so Pawan, if you're here, do type in. So Pawan actually bought a house in Hyderabad. It is a reasonable decision for him. He is absolutely right in terms of buying a house because he wants to settle in Hyderabad, right? He has a family there, he wants to live there, he loves the city, etc., etc. So according to him, it makes sense for him to buy that house, right? So as long as you're rational, it's fine. As long as you're reasonable, it's fine. But don't be crazy in the stock market that, hey, you know what, I have identified some penny stock, it's my choice, it's my investing style, I'll go and invest all my money in a penny stock. Please don't do that, right? That's an important point to consider. Number 6, that when you start, and this is where I'll speak a few points about stock markets, right, for people who are interested in listening to this. So a lot of us tend to invest in mutual funds, a lot of us tend to invest in stock markets, direct equities. A lot of us invest in assets like Bitcoin. A lot of us invest in housing markets also. Telegram says unavailable. Okay, I'll look into it. You just need to, it shows sometime on Telegram. I don't know why, but yeah, a lot of people are already there, so it should work. So important point to notice that whenever you invest in any asset class, for example, even if you go and invest your money now, this year, literally this year. So let's imagine that this is year 2020 and coronavirus has just hit. Okay. Let's assume that you put all your money before coronavirus hit. Okay, just literally like in February of 2020, you invested a lot of money, let's assume 10 lakh rupees in stock market. Now, how much do you think that money is worth today as we are sitting in June of 2021? So question is very simple, that you invested 10 lakh rupees, or let's imagine that you invested 1 lakh rupees before coronavirus pandemic in February of 2020. And now how much it has grown today as of June 2021? No, so it went down, right? So I'm not talking about when it fell. I'm talking about you just invested, market crashed, it came down by 50%. And now the market is up. So how much did you still make, or did you lose money? Okay, so just below, correct, right? So Jatin has answered it very correctly. In fact, Jatin, it has become 16,000 almost, right? So we are at 15,800 level. Okay, so we moved from 12,000 levels. So the market was trading at 12,000 levels in March of 2020. Sorry, in February of 2020, the market was trading at 12,400-ish level. It came down to 7,800 level. Okay, and then now it is back at 15,800 level. So there is 1/5, approximately 20%, 25% return easily, right? If now, see, but look at the volatility, right? This is what volatile market means, that, hey, you started out coronavirus, if you would have panicked that, hey, market has gone down to 7,500 level Nifty or 7,800 level Nifty, let me sell everything. And if you went out, even today, you would have been sitting on a massive loss. Okay, important point to notice that volatility is a very, 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 very important component of any asset class. Okay, so just few days back I was speaking at IIT Kharagpur, and one student asked me that, hey Akshat, you invest in bitcoins. Is Bitcoin even something which is investable? Because its prices change literally every day. One day it's trading at like $10,000, another day it becomes 20,000, some day it falls to 5,000. I don't know, like is it like even an investment anymore, right? So you tell me, like one simple answer, that even in stock market, right? Even in stock market, stocks fall by 40-50%, right? Good stocks fall by 40-50%. Let me give you an example. Do you know, before coronavirus, so there is a stock called as Bajaj Finance. Okay, so there is a stock called as Bajaj Finance. It is one of the most wonderful stocks, right? Or like, it's a very good stock. Guess how much was it trading for before coronavirus? Like in February of 2020, it was trading at approximately 4,400. At the bottom of the market in March or April somewhere, how much was Bajaj Finance trading at? It was trading at 2,000. Okay, not Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance. Okay, so in February 2020, it was trading at 4,000 something level, 4,400 level, 4,500 level. March, it went down to 21, 2,200 levels. Yeah, 21, 2,200 levels, 50-60% correction. Okay, where is it now? As of June 2021, it is at 6,000 level. Okay, the point is that I traded on that stock in 1 year for 6 times. Okay, now I'm not telling this to brag or anything, but all I'm simply telling you is that if, as an investor, you understand the volatility of things, of a good thing, of a good asset. So now a asset like a good reliable stock like Bajaj Finance in the market, in a mature stock market, is going up and down by 50, 60, 70%. A Bitcoin, which is the new asset, is going to have that type of volatility, right? So Morgan Housel was absolutely right when he said that, hey, volatility is the price that you pay by staying in the market, right? Very, very important. So Anish, no, so usually like I agree with your logic. All I'm simply trying to say is very, very simple, that Bitcoin or cryptos have a very small set, right now crypto market is like this much. Okay, stock market is like this much, right? So you have to assume that, hey, it's a new currency. Of course there will be a lot more volatility in the cryptos market. There will be a lot more volatility in the crypto market, right? That's the point that I'm trying to drive home here. Okay, so this is a very important point. Now, people who are able to handle this volatility are the ones who should stay in the market and who should invest in the market. That is very important. Why? Because Morgan Housel spoke of something called as tail events are major events. Okay. Now, please watch my video. I urge you, all of you, to please watch my video today. I have spoken about this. Now, from 2009, when the 2008 financial crisis hit, from 2009 to 2018, US saw one of its most massive bull runs. Okay, and stock market on an average added 350% in a 10-year time period in the US stock market, right? In US, there is hardly any inflation, very small inflation, 1-2%. In such a scenario, if the entire stock market is giving 350% return, right? You would say that, you know what, Akshat, it went up like this, right? No, there were a lot of problems. So what kind of events happened from 2009 to 2018? Can any of you tell me? Number one, China devalued its currency from 2015-16 period. There was a massive period when the stock market went down. There was the federal agencies derated the US currency, right? There was trade war with China, right? What else was there? There was ISIS crisis and all, right? In the Middle East, right? So ISIS was there, right? So much bad stuff was happening, right? Trump got elected and all that, right? So that's separate. But bottom line is that in that 10-year time frame, in each of these events, for example, when Fed rates increased and all that, there were massive drop days on that entire point, right? Now, if you would have pulled out your money during those downturns, you would have suffered a lot, right, in the stock market. But if you would have stayed put, you would have made an insane amount of money in that scenario, right? Very important. Today, please watch my video, right, which I'll try to release by like 9ish p.m., 8:30, 9ish p.m. And it is about how did I make like money in the stock market. So there are 3 important lessons that I have covered. Please watch that, right? It will be a good refresher to this entire thing, right? It will help you understand more, okay? But yeah, Brexit, right? So general Brexit was also there. 9/11, yes, no, 9/11 was not there, okay? So 9/11 happened in 2001, right? Okay. So, okay, cool. Now, this is an important point because tail events. So tail events are like, so for example, when you have this normal distribution curve, so it looks something like this. I'm trying to teach statistics via words without writing anything. So let me try it. So normal distribution happens like this. So these extreme things are called as tail events. Okay, that is what tail events mean. So there will be extremely good market days where the market will just shoot up, right? And then there will be extremely bad market days where the market will come down. So you can't time it, right? So you have to stay in the market. That is very important. That is very important point. Okay. Now, this is an important point, and this is something that I was able to decipher. So you are in for a surprise with your investment, no matter when you invest. Okay. So 3 major crashes have happened in the last every decade, right? So in 90s, in 90s, what did we have? We had the dot-com bubble burst, right? That's one. In early 2000 or like in late 2000, what did we have? We had financial crisis. What are we going through now? We are going through coronavirus, right? Number 1, what happened in 80s? We had Asian crisis, right? So 4 crashes you are looking at. Every time, has the market come up? The answer is yes. Okay, that's point 1, right? Tell me this. Are all these 4 scenarios similar, or are they similar in any way? I will not name it, man. They will ban my channel. Okay. No. Okay. Why? So, and again, please watch my video today. I have covered this point really, really well because a lot of people are asking that, hey, Akshat, the market has become like 16,000. Will it fall? Peter Lynch has given Ray Dalio has given a 6-step framework that I'll help you analyze. You will understand how to analyze bubbles yourself. So when the dot-com bubble burst, it is always said dot-com bubble. Do you say coronavirus bubble? No, right? Because dot-com bubble was a bubble, right? And there is a definition of bubble. There is certain criteria that need to go into creating a bubble, right? So dot-com crash happened in the 90s because there was a bubble. Bubble means that, the rates are super high, right? Everything is like super pricey. People are just putting money after money, like in a mad sense, because of which the bubble burst. That was the reason for that was the reason for the 90s dot-com burst. What was the reason for 2008 crisis? The interest rates were actually low up here, right? So no. So in fact, the interest rate was so low in 2008 that banks ran after literally anyone on the road to give them loans so that they can go and buy the house. Then when people were not able to repay those loans that they availed at a very low interest rate, subprime crisis happened. Why is it called as subprime? Because you were targeting people who were subprime, right? You were targeting bad people that even banks knew that they will not be able to repay the loans. Okay, therefore the housing bubble burst, which indirectly reflected on the banks. So I'll make a separate video on that, but just to help you understand a little bit more, people who cannot pay loans. For example, if let's say that you give loans in India to bottom 5% of people who are in terms of income levels, do you think that they will be able to repay the loans? The answer is no. Now, if they are not able to repay the loans, therefore they are called as subprime loans. Who will suffer? Banks will suffer. Now, if banks are suffering, then what is happening in the economy? Then banks are going under, right? Then if people start pulling money out of the banks, people start questioning every deal that the bank has done. So therefore, banks like Lehman Brothers, JP Morgan Chase crashed. Okay, so that was the reason, and that is the origination of the financial crisis, right? So it happened because the interest rates were already super low. Okay, that's 2. Okay, 2020 crisis. Why did that happen? Because of it was a healthcare crisis, right? No one knew that, hey, what coronavirus holds. It was just panic situation. In 2030, will there be some kind of a crash? Maybe, maybe not. I hope not, right? That's the goal. But something or the other will happen, right? It could be bad financial decision, it could be high debt, it could be something else. Some crisis will happen. I don't know whether Modi ji, but I'll leave that up to your imagination. Whatever, right? Bottom line or important point to notice here is very, very simple, that what, these kind of financial crises will keep on happening and the world will not be prepared for it. If there was some exact lesson we could have taken from the dot-com bubble burst, we would have already taken it, and the 2008 crisis would not have happened. If there was some lesson we would have taken from 2008 crisis, then maybe coronavirus crisis would not have happened. The point that I'm trying to tell you is very, very simple. That you will always have some kind of surprise. Okay, that is a very important point to understand, that if you're making investments in the stock market or crypto market or whatever, housing market, or even FD market, right? You will be in for a surprise. There will be bad stuff that will happen, because there will be that tail, right? On the bad side also, good side also. Okay. Yes, Shreya. So I can speak Hindi very well. I'll actually start a separate channel on Hindi, right? Okay. In fact, 1 or 2 of my videos are in complete Hindi, right? Okay. So you are in for a surprise. That is what is important. Now you might ask that, hey Akshat, you know what? I understand that I want to make investments in the stock market. I'm okay with volatility, and I understand that there will be tail events, and I understand that I'll be in for a surprise and Corona-like crash will happen where I'll see my portfolio getting into red. Okay, but what is it that I can do? So number one, please understand diversification. I have spoken about it on so many of my videos. Please go and understand truly what diversification means. Okay, very, very important. Diversification simply means that, hey, you are not putting all your money in one stock. For example, I'm very, very sure about 4 or 5 stocks right now, which I can literally put all my single dollar that I have earned on it, because I know that it will grow, right? But will I do it? No, right? Because I don't know, right? I am following the principle of diversification. It simply means that please never ever invest whatever. So let's say that you're going to invest 10 lakhs in stock market. Please don't invest more than 7 to 8% of your entire capital on one single stock. Okay. Don't make videos in Hindi because I cannot understand. So Nishant, it will be a separate channel. Please don't worry about it. I'll continue making English videos. Okay. Right. So that is the first principle, that, hey, you need to understand diversification. That is important. Now Morgan Housel literally meant to say that, hey, his concept of diversification literally means that you need to keep some room for error, right? That, hey, for example, I am a big believer in small finance banks in India. I'm made massive investment. You guys have seen it already. But have I invested all my money in it? No, right? I would not invest more than 10% of my money on any single stock ever. Okay, that is a simple thing that I would do, at least within the stock market investment. I mostly invest in stock markets, that's it, and cryptos, right? That's what I'm doing, because I already have bought a little bit of commercial real estate, etc. So I don't do all that. I don't have FDs, I don't put a lot of money in savings account, etc., etc., right? So all those points are there, but at least in the stock market I'm diversified and invest in different sectors. For example, I've made little bit of investments in the EV sector, healthcare sector, finance sector, etc., etc. This is very important, because you should always have a scope for margin for error. That's one. Second point, you must invest. If you don't understand stock markets well, then you must invest both in aggressive and defensive stocks. Okay. Again, please watch my video today. Humble request. The simple reason why I'm urging you to watch that video is because I've explained you in what type of market cycles you should pick up defensive stocks versus aggressive stocks. Very, very important, right? So all these are concepts, sub-bifurcations of margin of safety that Morgan Housel has spoken about. Okay. Number 10, right? Now comes like your personal saving habits and thinking more about the psychology rather than the stock market discussion. So you must focus on savings. Okay. Tell me the benefits of saving, right? So why is it, if I have to ask you like in a very simple terms, that, hey, why is it important to save? What is the number one reason why you should save? Thank you, YFS. Or okay, so freedom is not the answer. Okay, so let me ask you this. So why do you think that a person like Warren Buffett still saves money? right? He's like almost 90 plus, right? He's almost 90 plus, right? So why do you think that someone like Warren Buffett, who is a billionaire, he actually saves money, right? It makes no sense, right? No, nothing, right? He does not have like health crisis. I mean, even if he has health crisis, he can buy a hospital, right? So he does not need to, avoid depreciation. He does not need an emergency fund. He does not need like sudden opportunities. I don't think, right? For example, there was this quote by Warren Buffett, or like some experience by Warren Buffett, where he said that, hey, if the market is up, so Warren Buffett lives in Ohio, I think, and Omaha, I think, right? So he drives from his house. He has been living in the same house, drives the same car to on the way to his office, and there is a McDonald's where he usually eats breakfast. Okay, and his breakfast is fixed, that he will order like XYZ burger and one Coke or whatever, and it costs like $2.50 or something like that, right? Now he said that Omaha, right? So yeah, so he said that what, if the market is up, then I buy like a $3.5 burger, and if the market is down, then I buy like a $1.5 burger, right? Do you really think that spending $2 for like Warren Buffett would change something? So why is it like he advocates like habit of saving? So someone said fitrat, that is absolutely right, and I'll explain that. Very important point, right? So 3.5, yeah, I might be wrong about the numbers, but please take the lesson from this, right? Yes, so it's a matter of habits, right? For example, if you're in the habit of spending money, you would not even realize when you have started becoming a massive spender, right? I got a lot of backlash when I propagated that, you should not be using credit cards in India, right? Again, qualifying the statement that please don't use credit cards in India, because it's a habit, right? It just gets you into a bad habit. And as we were speaking earlier, it leads to compounding of bad habits, right? You'll make a simple decision of buying like an iPhone, right? The next phone that you have to buy, which phone would that be then, right? If you are looking to replace your iPhone with phone X, what phone do you think you're going to buy? Right? You are again going to buy an iPhone or a higher version of it. Have you ever seen people downgrading their phones, right? That's a problem, right? In terms of buying stuff, right? That's an issue. It's not as if that you can't, you should not be spending money. You should be spending money, but in accordance with your income, etc., etc., right? I myself use an iPhone, by the way, so irony, right? But I use this for shooting videos, right? So it helps me, right, from that angle. So this is an investment for me, right? Otherwise, I would have never bought like expensive phones. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So important point is that, hey, save every penny you can, not because there might be some kind of emergency. All that stuff is there, absolutely. Thank you, ABC. So not because there will be some kind of emergency, but because of the fact that, hey, if you get into the habit of being a rational spender, I'm not saying that, hey, become a penny pincher, don't spend money at all. For example, I like traveling, and before coronavirus time, my wife and I went to Hong Kong, etc., etc., and I travel quite extensively. Even now, we are planning to sort of go live in Europe for a substantial period of time. Bunch of different things. All that stuff requires money, right? So it does not mean that I will not be spending money at all, but I'm spending money on experiences, right? What t-shirt are you buying next? I buy Decathlon, right? So this is Decathlon again, right? So super easy to buy, no problem there. Okay, cool. So this is very, very important, right? That you save money because it's a good habit to inculcate, right? So inculcate good habits, just do away with bad habits. You can't put all that stuff on a spreadsheet, right? A lot of people tell me that, what, Akshat, you're giving wrong advice, that people should use credit card and become like good spenders. We are rational spenders. I agree, right? And that's your viewpoint. It's completely okay. You can give me like 1,000 reasons for using credit card, but I'm very happy like when I interact or like engage in cash, right? When I give cash, if I'm giving physical cash, it hits me that, what, this money is going out. So I should be more mindful in terms of spending money, right? So very, very important points. Please inculcate it. That is what my request to you would be. Okay. 11th point. So room for error, right? One more important point, because many of you have asked me that, hey, Akshat, create like FNO, futures and options. Teach like options buying, guys. These are super risky strategies. I will teach you this, right, subsequently going forward. But these are super risky. For example, if you are an option buyer, If you're an option buyer, if you're an option seller, it's okay. But if you're an option buyer, it can literally wipe you out completely. You will never be able to re-enter the stock market. Why do such stuff, right? Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So don't do this stuff, right? Unless you absolutely are great at it, right? So that's what I would say. So I would never advocate these kind of things, right? 12th important point is that once you have understood that, hey, I need to build the right habits, I understand how to do investments, etc., etc. All those are wonderful points. But again, comes the psychology of money, and this is what I loved about Morgan Housel's book, that he literally said that we need to create our own definition of enough. Right? This is very, 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 very important. I can't stress enough on the fact that, hey, you need to create your own definition of enough. How much do you want to work? How much do you want to earn? How much do you want to save? No, save as much as you can, right? There is no limit to it. But important point is that you must create your own definition of enough and don't engage in unethical practices. So there was a lot of commentary that was given around Mr. Rajat Gupta, right? That he, you guys can read it. But just to cut the long story short, the example was very simple, that he was the one who played a prominent part in terms of making McKinsey really big, right? Super, like rags to riches story, was living a wonderful life, had built massive amount of wealth. He did not have to do all this bad stuff, right? In the sense that, do insiders trading and all that, but he did it similarly. And he's not a standalone example. There are a lot of people who do that. They do it because they don't understand what is enough, right? Why do we do this? The reason is social comparison and social pressure, right? If you are someone who is if you're someone who is who is a management consultant, for example, right? So for example, I was a management consultant. My colleagues always used to compare their salaries with whom? Investment bankers, right? Because many of our friends were investment bankers. They were making 30% more. Okay, so a salary of even like $120,000 was not enough, right? From that angle, we had to make like 150,000 from that perspective. Now, investment bankers, whom do you think that they used to compare their salaries against? They used to compare it against hedge fund managers, right? There was like one of my friends, he got a job from INSEAD and his salary was $500,000. Okay, literally, I'm not kidding, right? Right after undergrad, he was working with a private equity fund. So investment bankers, even if you're getting into like even if you're getting into like JP Morgan top jobs right after your MBA school, you might struggle, right? You might feel that, my hedge fund manager friend is making $500,000. Now that hedge fund manager is going to compete against HNIs, high net worth individuals, right? They are making like $5 million a year. That HNI will compete against Warren Buffett. He's making like whatever, like $10 billion a year. So there is never end to this race. So you need to define what exactly do you sort of enough means to you, right? So that is a very, very important point that you need to understand. Okay, so this is point number 12. Now 2 final points and then we will close out. I'll take some questions. Number 3, this is a good statement that I read. This is not from the psychology of money. Personal finance is personal for a reason. Okay, so why do we call it personal finance? Why don't we call it like something else, right? We call it personal finance because it is personal for a reason, right? So you need to define how much money you want to generate, right? Whether you want a 6% return, whether you want a 15% return, whether you want 30% return, you define it, right? You define how much is enough for you, right? Therefore, I think this quote that, hey, personal finance is personal for a reason is a wonderful statement to summarize the entire book, which is The Psychology of Money, that each of us would develop or inculcate our own definition of finance, of own definition of investments. If you're someone who hates volatility, FDs, fixed deposits are wonderful for you, right? Go invest in FDs, nothing wrong. If you are someone who does not have any time, you say that, Akshat, screw it, I don't want to learn about stock market, etc., etc. Leave it, right? You don't need to engage into stock trading. You can literally give your money to a mutual fund manager, be happy with 7 or 10% return, right? Okay, Aman, I'll answer that in the last part. Okay, so essentially personal finance is personal for a reason, that you set your own limits. You need to act accordingly. Important point is that please keep on learning, right? Please keep on developing your rationale. Please develop your investing skills, etc. Even if other people are investing your money, because it helps you stay tuned, right? You might be able to decipher some opportunities which will be important, right? Which brings me to the final point that, hey, how do I invest? I have spoken a lot about it, but I will quickly recap a few important points so that you guys understand where I am coming from. Okay. Point number one, that I am a slightly risk-averse investor. Sorry, I am a slightly risky investor, right? I invest in slightly risky assets. For example, I'm okay investing in non-blue chip stocks, so to say, right? Very, very important. I diversify. I invest in different things. But you need to understand my rationale of what gives me the power of becoming a slightly risky investor, right? Number one, I hunt for a good, stable 15 to 20%, 15 to 25%, 30% return in India. Now, many of you might jump in and say that, you know what, Akshat, you're crazy. Even Warren Buffett does not consistently make more than 20% returns. Guys, I'm investing in India market. Okay, so please understand inflation. So in India, people can make 15-20% return without taking too much risk. So I would be somewhere towards the risky side. I'm not a mad investor, so to say that, hey, I'll invest in like dumb stocks, so to say. So, but I am consistently looking for that 15 to 25, 30% return, right? That is my angle, right? When I'm making investment, that's one. Number two, I do not depend on my stock market income, right? There are other income sources. Sure. So there are other income sources that I leverage. I make money from it. I invest that into stock market. Stock market is not my full-time job. Okay. I can't tell you how important it is to not be a full-time stock investor, right? If you want to make money from stock market, I personally feel that in India, if you're not a full-time investor, you are gold, right? You don't need to spend money unnecessarily. You don't need to sell your stocks unnecessarily, because there is like a huge emergency fund that I can create, right? I know that, hey, there are like other sources of income, touch wood. So, that will work for me. That's good enough for me, right? So therefore, this gives me the power of making risky investment, and therefore I'm a risky investor, and therefore I have a range of 15 to 25, 30%, right? That is what I am doing, right? Is this strategy right for you? Maybe not, right? Okay, one final point, that also the age, right? So I feel that I have good, like, hopefully, right, I have like 50-60 life ahead of me, right? 50-60 years of life ahead of me. So there is enough time that I can dedicate to stock markets. Okay. So if you are young, so as a general rule, right, and this is something that you can think about as a general rule, if you are young, investing in equities is fine, right? As you get older and older and you get more and more responsibility, start shifting your portfolio towards debt, right? So debt means, now I will discuss this separately on some other course, some other video maybe, but debt means that you are moving towards fixed assets, for example, bonds, right? So rather than equities where you're not buying shares, you're buying bonds, right? So that is what debt are bonds, equities are equities. So you're shifting more of your portfolio from equities to debt. This is how usually it should happen in conjunction with your age and responsibilities. Okay. This is what I would say. And yeah, guys, this is pretty much it, right? So this is the summary. I was trying to summarize it. So I'll take some questions. Meanwhile, admin points, please join the Telegram group, right? Number one, right? You will find the links on my LinkedIn post, etc. Right? What is the definition of enough money for you? Please give your perspective. This is subjective. Okay, so I think this is an interesting question. So guys, I don't know, like, to be honest, I'm not too worried, because I feel that, hey, I have like good habits, good spending habits. So I'm not too worried about how much money I make. Money making is fun for me, right? To be honest, right? That's it, right? So I would not give you a number, right? And I would not disclose my net worth. So please don't comment that, hey, disclose your entire net worth. I make enough, right? That's good enough for me, right? So that's fine, right? Okay, now here are next set of books that we are going to read. So next book that we are reading is called as Deep Work. Okay, I have stopped putting affiliate links. Okay, so I'm not doing it anymore because it was just taking too much time for me to collate the data. Okay, that's one. Okay, so this is the next book that we are going to read. This is Deep Work. This is about, I haven't read it fully, so I will read it, right? And this is by Cal Newport, right? This is about how you focus in a highly distracted world, right? So very relevant book, right? This is one. After this, I don't think I've prescribed books, right? Guys, can you please confirm it? Deep Work. After this, we haven't talked about anything, right? Not next weekend. So it will be after 2 weeks. Okay, I'll make the announcement also. So whatever, like after 2 Saturdays. Okay, 14 days we get to read a book. Okay, cool. So Deep Work is next. Okay, so I'll narrate like 4 or 5 key books that we are going to read. Okay, I think this book is also quite wonderful, right? It is called as Contagious. Jonah Berger, right? So this is good, right? How ideas spread. This is an interesting book, so we can read about this. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys would be interested in reading like something around startups. So this is one book that I would prescribe, 0 to 1. Okay. Right. So this is one book. And I'm personally reading like 2 more books. So one is called as All Marketers Tell Stories, right? So this is a good book, right? So I will, you guys can buy it, right? This I'll definitely discuss. What order we can figure it out later. Next book we are definitely doing is Deep Work. Okay, 100%. Okay, 0 to 2. Okay, and this is the Armchair Economist. This is again a very interesting book, right? This teaches you concepts of economics. So awesome, right? So this is what we will read. Okay, so next 2 books will be, again I'll recap very quickly. One would be Deep Work, that is first, and then 0 to 1, right? So these 2 important books we are going to read as the next 2 books, right? But if you guys want to order more books, then please order these 3 also. Okay, so All Marketers Tell Stories, okay, Contagious, right, and the Armchair Economist. Yes, I will definitely do it. The 14 summarized points on Telegram post, 100% I'll do it. Right, like a couple of hours I'll do it. Okay. All right, index investing, I'll make a separate video, Shrideep, not a problem. Okay, so these are our next point. Okay, so you guys want me to stay for like another 5 minutes and answer questions, or should we end the live stream? No, so guys, I invest in like physical commercial real estate, like I literally buy it. Okay, can you please teach us how you calculate fair value of a stock? Okay, very interesting concept. I will do it, but please, guys, again, a request that please go and watch my video today that I'll be releasing. People don't usually talk about these kind of strategies, right? I will talk about how to analyze stuff, okay, on that. So it's a good analytical video. Okay, on age of your subscribers, I'm curious. So Mohit, YouTube actually gives like very interesting data, right? So majority, like almost 90% of my subscribers fall from like 18 to 26, 27. How to change psychology? Thank you. Okay, can you also make a video on when to sell? Yes, I'll make that. Good, interesting point. I've scored bad in 10th. No one cares about like your 10, 12 marks in at INSEAD, Jatin. You can get it, right? Okay, how old are you? I am 33. Do you invest in crypto? Yes, I do, sir. But कुछ दिनों के बाद भूल जाता हूँ. So Vivek, that happens because you do not engage with material. Okay, so you learn this, right? Don't worry, right? I mean, all the meetings, जैसे आप meetings attend कर रहे हो तो मैं हिंदी भी बोल ही देता हूँ, right? वरना लोगों को लगेगा कि मुझे हिंदी नहीं आती. So 1 मिनट, so 1 minute I am going to speak in Hindi. Okay, so Vivek, बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है कि सिर्फ बुक पढ़ लो से हो जाता है, बट आपको बुक पढ़ने से नॉलेज मिल जाती है, राइट? लेकिन अगर आप इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करोगे नॉलेज, सो आपको कभी चीज़ें याद नहीं रहेंगी. सो इसलिए लिखना, पढ़ना, समझना, उसको एंगेज करना किसी तरीके से, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है, राइट? सो जैसे इस बुक क्लब के थ्रू हम लोग डिस्कस करते हैं तो आपको चीज़ें या पॉइंट्स ज़्यादा याद रहेंगे, राइट? सिमिलरली जो टेलीग्राम ग्रुप है, अगर आप उसको ज्वाइन करोगे तो उसमें मैं पॉइंट्स भेजता रहूँगा बीच बीच में. अगर मुझे कुछ अच्छा आर्टिकल मिलता है या मुझे उसमें कुछ अच्छा इंटरेस्टिंग वीडियो मिलता है जो बुक जो हमने पढ़ी है उससे रिलेट करता है, तो आप उसको जाके रीविजिट कर सकते हो. तो ये बेनिफिट है उसका, राइट? Yes, Himanshu, I do videos on personal branding. Yes, I will do that. Sir, your views on Reliance Industries new business? I haven't analyzed it, to be honest. I'm already an investor. I have actually sold my Reliance holding, right? I mean, as I announced on LinkedIn also, I'll buy it back after a few days, right? Is there any way our sessions can be many to many instead of one to many? Simran, I don't understand. Many to many instead of one to many, as in, do you want me to bring more speakers? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Yes, Talberg does hire from IIMs. Being from tier 3, Shubham, talk about consistency. Okay, all right, thanks for the session. Yes, I'll make a separate video on real estate investments. Okay, how to remove FOMO. Okay, very interesting. Okay, I'll try to make a video on that. Okay. All right, guys. Okay, I'll stay for like 2-3 more minutes, guys. talk about careers in public policy. I am running a web podcast, so I'll start advertising it a little bit, right? So yeah, that you guys can watch it. It's mostly related to economics and public policy, right? Okay. Book on FOMO. Okay, all right. I'll do that. I'll check. How do you cover 1,000 cases? I don't know. Please recommend how to think strategically. Okay, I'll do that. CFA for, so guys, by the way, I've cleared like CFA level 2. I never wrote CFA level 3. Honestly, like CFA is useful if you want to work in equity research and things like that, right? It's good. It's a good add-on degree. It's not a degree in itself. Okay, could you discuss your journey? Sure, I'll do that. Okay. Okay, Amara Raja, share some news, please. Okay, I don't know, guys. I mean, I'm a long-term investor in it. Yesterday, I'm sure that you would have watched my video on electric vehicle. So, yeah, I was speaking from that angle. So, Amara Raja, I've discussed there. Okay. Learning about market, where shall? So, start learning slowly, guys. I mean, you will understand the market. Not a problem there. Okay. How do you do your screening and due diligence? Okay, I'll show you how do I build a screener, etc. Okay, how much percentage of cash we should keep? So see, percentage wise, no, I would rather say that there should be a certain amount, right? For example, like depending on your family needs, depending on your lifestyle, bunch of different things. But I think if you can finance your expense for the 6 months, for the next 6 months, it's a good enough cash base. Okay, so for example, let's say that your monthly expense for you and your family is 50,000, right? Then if you have 3 lakh rupees in your savings account, that's good cash base to be, right? PM videos, sure. So guys, I'm not like, what's the right age to get married? 25, Mayank, right? So that's a weird answer there. Okay, I don't know, right? I'm just kidding. Okay, so your asset allocation strategy, sure, I'll talk about that. Okay, all right, guys. So lovely. So many people stayed back. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure, right? And yeah, and we will connect in like 2 weeks. We will do another sort of debrief session on deep work. I'll try to see if I can do that via Zoom, right? If there is a way for me to do that, I'll make the announcements. Okay. Thank you so much. And please read this book. This is a slightly lengthy book, guys. So, please get started on it. It's like 250 pages, right? Instead of our usual 200 pages. Okay, cool. So thanks for connecting, and we will connect in 2 weeks. All right. And please join the LinkedIn, please join the Telegram group. Okay.